Hey guys, today I wanted to look at a problem plant that I have, Monstera deliciosa, not doing well. What's going on with it? Definitely know that it needs to be repotted, so let's take a look at it and see what we're gonna do. Help it out. So we're going to take a look now at some of the leaves. This leaf looks pretty good, nice and wide, no big brown spots or anything like that. Let's keep looking at this guy. Oof. Oof, what is that? Those look like, oof, curled young sad leaves. Okay, that one too, sad. It's got brown on the tips, brown on the middle, and it's curled. Almost looks dry, huh? This guy, this is a newer leaf that came out, and it's definitely brown and yellow. Let's look at what else we got over here. Okay, this one, we've got okay color, curled. Last leaf. Oh wow, what's going on with you, little guy? You've got something hanging from you. Looks like one of my children hung a toy off of the end of the plant as it was dry and pokey, so it was kind of the perfect thing to just stab something on there. Alright, so let's try to figure out how we can help this plant and try to figure out what's going on with it. So first thing that we can notice is the soil. Soil is really hard. It's really compacted, almost like clay. I can't really dig, I can dig my finger in there, but it's hard. So we know we need to repot it. That's one thing. It's also super dry. So it could definitely use some water. So that's one thing. Another thing is that it was in a spot where it was getting a lot of sun, and most likely direct sun. So we are going to, after we repot it, move it into a different spot with a little bit less sunlight. Alright, so one of the reasons why I have this yellow thing on the ground is because that's going to protect my floor from the dirt that's out of this pot. So we're going to try to get this plant out of the pot. Not sure how successful it will be. It's in there pretty tight. Turn on its side. You see that? Okay, great. And the plastic pot on the inside is jammed. It's not coming out. All right. Coming out. Wowzers. All right. Interesting. Okay, so we've got our Monstera out. We're gonna look at the root ball. Hope you can see that. Get a little closer. Let's check that out. All right, so you can almost see a lot of the roots are shriveled up, but it's got a nice big root ball. So while I'm here, I'm going to break up the root ball a little bit because the soil's so tight. So all I'm going to do is press down a little bit, and it's so dry that it's just kind of crumbling the dirt. What this will do is it'll help with the roots later on so that they can get acclimated to their new soil and start growing faster. If they're like all super tight in a bunch like that, when I put them in the new dirt, they're gonna take a while to try to get out of that soil that they've been compacted in. So I'm really gonna loosen up this root ball. And it's kind of just doing it on its own now. And once I do that, we're kind of left with this, which is kind of amazing. I was pretty gentle. I mean, I did lose a few roots in there, but nothing too crazy. All the main roots are pretty much intact. These big guys, you want to protect them. So, all right, so now I'm gonna set this guy down. Look at the pot that it was in. Try to get that out. That has a hole at the bottom. Okay, so super important for Monstera is that your hole has, your pot has a hole, and this one does, which is great. But in order to get it a little bit more drainage, we're gonna add some rocks at the bottom of this so that the water flows out really well. I noticed that when I was watering it, the water wasn't really coming out. It was just kind of sitting in there. And I think that was really hurting the plant. So let's go ahead and add some rocks. Then I'll show you the soil mixture I have, and we'll repot it. All right, so I'm back, and I've got some black lava rock. It's just what I have. Sometimes I use broken up pottery. Sometimes I use stones from the garden if I don't have anything else. You can use broken up brick. There's a lot of things you can use. Basically, you just want something chunky at the bottom to keep it from compacting the very bottom, because that's kind of eventually what happens in potted plants, especially bigger ones. There's a lot of weight. So I'm just going to put anywhere from a ½ inch to an inch of rock down here. It's going to help serve as a drainage layer. That looks pretty good. I can't really tell how much is in there, but there it is. And now I'm gonna go get my soil. Monsteras like a lot of airflow, and they don't want anything stagnant, no stagnant water. So for my soil, I kind of use what's on hand, but you want chunky things in the soil. That's like the big thing. So I added nutrients with worm poo, and I also added chunkiness with bark and charcoal. There's perlite in here, there were some pebbles in here. If I didn't have those things, I could have added this lava rock. There's a lot of different things you could use, but basically you don't want the soil to be like clay or dense or muddy. It's not going to work well for these plants. So we're going to go ahead and repot this guy now. See what happens. Let's see if I have enough soil. All right. Got this giant pile of extra soil. If I didn't have enough soil here, what I could do was add some of the old soil to this soil, kind of mix it up a little bit, and that would probably be okay. Let's see if we have enough. I'm not sure if we will, but we might. All right, so I'm putting a little in the bottom, and then I'm gonna put my plant in. This guy could probably use the next size up pot, but I don't have the next size up pot. At least I don't think I do. So we're gonna keep him in this pot for now. I'll try to look for something for the future. Probably in 6 months or so, I'd want to repot it. But for now, it's gonna be okay. So he fits in there okay. Ooh, get out of my face. Fill in on the sides. Sometimes I fill in on the sides and then lift them up a little bit, because all that soil is going in through the roots now. So you kind of gotta add it, especially with big roots like that, and shake it a little bit to kind of get it to settle. Monstera also, you know, they're kind of in the epiphyte family. They're similar to them. They can grow on trees. Some of their roots are aerial roots. With those roots, they grab onto things, but then they can attach themselves and start growing into things with those aerial roots. So they can do both. They can live on the forest floor and they can live in the trees too. It's kind of cool. All right, so he's almost done. I don't like to press my soil in too much, but a little bit, just so that later on I don't come back and see that the soil is really low in one area. So we have the Monstera potted up into new dirt, same old pot. And there's one last thing. I'm going to take this little toy off right here. So, I don't know, I'm thinking about trimming some of these. I'm going to look at it again once it's in its new spot, kind of see what it looks like when it perks up. I'm going to give it a whole bunch of water right now, really douse it. And then I'm going to pick a new spot, lots of indirect light. A little bit of dappled sunlight is fine, but before it was in like direct sun for probably at least a couple hours a day, and it was just too hot. So we'll see how it goes. I'll let you know how it's doing. If you guys have any problems with your plants, let me know in the comments. And please subscribe and like. Thank you so much. Take care.